You have that person on your team who's always making sure everyone's doing okay. They're having a good day, they had a good evening, they're happy to be at work, they're focused on the collaboration on the team, they're focused on the relationships. Do you have that person on your team? Are you that person on the team? That is the S style. S is steadiness, and they tend to focus on relationships. Relationships are very important to the S style. Now, that doesn't mean it's not important to the other styles. It absolutely is. It's just that the S style puts it at a very high priority. The other styles, it might not be as high of a priority as it is to the S style. So I just want to make it perfectly clear that just because S's tend to focus on relationships, it doesn't mean the other styles don't. It just is at a higher priority for the S style. So these folks tend to focus on collaboration, making sure the people who need to be involved are involved, making sure they're including other folks from other teams or other departments that might need to be made aware of something that's going on, making sure everybody is involved in the decision. Like, have we reached out to everybody we need to reach out to make sure those who need to be involved are involved? So your S style is also very important, just like all the other styles, brings a lot of value to the team to make sure that we are collaborating with each other, we're involving the people we need to involve, we're not missing other areas or other departments that might be included when it comes to making big decisions for an organization. They very much focus on steadiness and patience and consistency. So they might be a little bit more slower paced than your D or the I style, but you appreciate that pace. You appreciate them taking the time to make sure that everybody is included and everybody's involved before rushing into something. Just imagine when you have your S style and your D style and they're not aware of each other's styles at all. They might not even know that this DiSC thing exists. But many times in organizations, it happens all the time. The S style feels like the D style doesn't like them. And it's simply because the S style puts so much focus on relationships that the D style can come across as being intimidating or not as interested in having a relationship. So you can sense there's some natural tension. But when you realize why someone is the way they are, why they're an S and what's the motivator for them, or why they're a D and what's the motivator for them, you can minimize that tension. It's naturally there as a result of our styles and what we prioritize. So when your S is prioritizing the relationship and they're in a meeting with a D and we're not talking about relationships, there is natural tension, or they're interpreting that the D style just doesn't like them. And that is just far from the case. D styles absolutely want to have relationships. It's just at a different place in their priority list. And that's crucial information to understand in a workplace, especially working on teams. Your S style is very supportive. They are sometimes overly supportive. Now, every style has its setback as well. So your setback for your S style is they have a really hard time saying no. They want to be supportive of everyone, sometimes to the detriment of their schedule and what they need to get done. So they do have a hard time saying no. So invite them to say no if they're taking on too much or if they just don't have time in their day. It's okay if you say no. In fact, please say no if you don't have time to do this. And honor that and welcome that, because they do have a hard time saying no and sometimes need to be encouraged to say no and be comfortable with saying no. So what's the best way to work with those on your team who are the S styles? Be patient and kind. They very much value those who show kindness back, and that really resonates with them. Appreciate their contributions. S styles tend to really like that feeling of being appreciated and that feeling of adding value and that feeling of contributing to the team and having an important role on the team when it comes to moving a project forward, when it comes to getting the work completed, and appreciating what they bring to the team when it comes to collaborating with everyone and making sure there's really good relationships. So your S styles, once again, are focused on the relationships. They make sure that the relationships are strong. If there's not a healthy culture, your S styles will be most likely some of the first folks to look for another job. They really thrive on a healthy workplace and people getting along and enjoying being at work. So it's really important that we put an emphasis on a healthy workplace culture in order to retain our S styles, where relationships are so important to them and are such a high priority to them. They're calm, they're caring, so you definitely want to have the S style on your team to bring that perspective and to share that with the rest of the folks. So if you want to hear more about more styles, be sure to like and subscribe. We're going to keep diving into the other styles of D, I, S, and C.